Hey guys, sorry about any confusion there. Facebook interface is very, very strange tonight. I'm just staring at a black screen. So I hope you guys can see me. Also, hope I'm not making any kind of funny faces or picking my nose or something. Um, yeah, sorry about that, guys. Hope everybody's having a good summer. Um, it's a different one this year. And I think, no matter where you're listening to this in the world, we've had kind of an interesting few months. But it's really an exciting time to be in the True Folk Assembly. I'm very, very hopeful that you guys will come out and join us at Odenshoff for our 25th anniversary. Um, that's going to be really something. I'm very excited about it. We've got a lot in store. One of the big things we're doing is consecrating our burial space at Odenshoff and interring our first the remains of our first part of our AFA family there. So excuse me, that's an exciting thing to be there for, and it's really something special that our people have wanted and have deserved for a very long time. So I'm excited to do that. Like I said, we got plenty of 25th anniversary stuff to do and to celebrate. Steve and Sheila McNallen have a presentation for us about the 25-year history of the True Folk Assembly and kind of the amazing story that brought us to where we are. So yeah, thanks guys for joining me, and thanks for bearing with me with these technical things here. Like I say, I had no idea if this is a pretty broadcast or not, but I'll do my best. So right off the jump here, does anybody have anything that they would like to talk about this evening, or any questions for me to get started? I'll look. I've learned from past experiences and from tonight's experience with Facebook here that it may require me to do a little bit of looking at my phone to get that squared away. So don't mind that. I'm not ignoring you or losing your attention. I just need to look and make sure I'm getting all of the questions. I want to answer if it's worth your guys' effort to come on here and ask a question and it's important enough to you. I really do want to be able to get there and answer. And as always, after this, I'll try to get back to everybody's questions if something gets missed. Um, Looking on the side, how's getting back to the gym? Getting back to the gym is amazing. Um, those of you who work out, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about and know that feeling. One of the most difficult parts of the last couple of months with the reactions to the coronavirus has been the inability for folks to do things that manage stress, that help us through our daily lives, that kind of keep us centered. One thing about the gym is in a way it's a form of meditation. In a way it's something physically with your body you're doing that centers yourself and get your head in the right space. And I absolutely love it. It's a big part of my life, and it's been absolutely amazing to get back to it. Our gym here in Reno is the best I've ever been to in my life. It's the best gym in the entire world as far as I'm concerned. It was fantastic. I went in there. They welcomed me home like I was family. The guy at the front desk even had my member number all memorized, and that meant a lot to me. So things with the gym are going great. Um, Hope you guys are doing good. I hope things are opened up in your area, or opening up at least. Um, I see Chase is getting back to his Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and his MMA. That's awesome. I still got to wait for the dojo to open up before I can get back to my Jiu Jitsu. That one's still kind of holding out, but at least I got the regular gym to go to, so I'm happy guy about that. It's been a good week. Stuff opening back up. What else we got, guys? Anything you want to talk about tonight? Well, Something I would like to talk about. It's June, and kind of thematically, the AFA year always starts at midsummer, and we kind of run the big themes and the big kind of evaluations of the Astro Folk Assembly often from midsummer to midsummer. This year marks the ninth year of our kind of bigger cycle that Alsheri Gothi McNallen put us on. We're starting that ninth year. And the last 3 years of the cycle, so the 2 years previous and then starting here at midsummer, have been a focus on immortality. And immortality means a lot of things. Um, in a lot of ways, there's very, very tangible things that we can do that will outlast us and that will remain here in Midgard after we've gone on to something else. And spiritually, there's even more to be said as far as developing the self in a way that survives the dying process. But very specifically, a lot of the immortality we've focused on is building the House of True Folk Assembly into an establishment, into a church that stands the test of time, into something that will be there for our children and our children's children, and hopefully well beyond that. And that's certainly what all of us here at the House of True Folk Assembly and all the great people that we have volunteering in AFA leadership are trying to build. I was having a really interesting conversation with Gothi Harold the other day, and we were talking. He's got a young son, and I just had my daughter in April, and it occurred to us that our his son and my daughter will never know a time that there wasn't Hoffs to our gods, um, and that's it's kind of a simple thing to say, but for a lot of us who've been doing House of Truth for a long time, it's really profound to know that our children won't ever have known a time where House of True wasn't a thing, where we didn't have temples to our gods. Um, they came into this world when the AFA had a Hoff. My daughter came in when we had two Hoffs, and when we've got membership in 16 different countries now. We've got AFA members for the first time as part of our AFA family in Iceland, which is really a special thing. So focusing on that immortality has been a huge part of what we've been doing. This year, the symbol that will guide that focus is Ansus. And I think the connections of Ansus and immortality speak for themselves in a lot of ways. Um, but the idea of immortality through listening to our gods, Ansus, it's all about the gods and their inspiration, but it implies mouth and speaking, listening to what our gods have to tell us, and really focusing on our relationship and building that relationship with our gods, building that troth with our gods, literally being Ausa true. And I think that's a really profound thing for us to think on as we finish up our immortality cycle and as we go through this year trying to build those things that are lasting in our community, in our family, in our kindred, and certainly within the Astro Folk Assembly. Um, so yeah. Sorry guys, just checking the phone to see if anybody had anything they were asking or anything you guys want to talk about or anything you guys might want to know. Um, Things have been going really well for the Astro Folk Assembly. I want to assure you guys that while a lot of things have been shut down and a lot of things have been locked up, the AFA has tried to use that time to really build what we have internally, to shore everything up, to get good things going, um, and to really focus on growing and having great things. And surprisingly, during this time, we've had a lot of people come to the AFA. So I think that as we're coming out of it, as people are getting out and doing things, you're going to notice there's a lot more AFA members in your area. Maybe a lot of new members close to you. So I hope that we can all make the effort to welcome new members, to get them shuffled in and involved in all the great things that the AFA is doing. It's been really exciting to watch that growth. Um, One area that's been tremendously growing for us is the Northwest. We've got two new folk builders helping out Joe Rosenek up there. We've got Johnny Larson and Katie Allen, and that energy up there has been really nice to see. That area is growing. I think it's an amazing area with a lot of potential for us to really develop. I'm excited to watch that grow. I'm excited to see what's happening there. So, if you live in that area, if you know folks that might be interested, now is a great time for them to join. Um, Other things that have been growing and developing really well is folks within the proximity of Thorshof. Since we've established Thorshof, since we started making that a reality, actually, since we started looking in the area for a Hof, there's been a huge upswing in applicants and in members in that area. And I really feel that that's a powerful way that Weird is working in our life and for what we're trying to do and with what we're trying to do. So it's been really nice if you find yourself over in the Carolinas or within the general vicinity there. In case you haven't heard, in case you weren't aware, in case you didn't hear our conversation last month, Thorshof is in central North Carolina and a little town called Linden, and it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's brimming over with potential, and it's ours. So I'm really excited about that. Next month, on the 18th, we're going to do the official dedication of Thorshof. The folks there, Donner's Oak Kindred and the Iron Guard Kindred, have been putting a lot of effort in trying to make that a really special place for us, a place that honors Asa Thor, a place that is worthy of our folk, and a place that's going to be an amazing spot for the Austro Folk Assembly together to honor our gods, to celebrate our folk, and to build fellowship with one another. So I'm looking forward to going to that. If anybody can make time to be there, we would love to see you guys out there at Thorshof on the 18th of July. Um, but yeah, we got a lot of good stuff going on. All right. So what else do we got, guys? Do we have any questions this evening? Anything y'all want to talk about? Anything you guys want to hear me talk about? I'm looking on my phone trying to make sure I'm not missing any of y'all's comments because it's been a little bit difficult. Yeah, it looks like I am losing quite a bit of comments. We'll get this figured out. Um, all right. So, oh, I just saw your very nice compliment, Chase. Thank you very much. I'm glad that things are going well, and I'm glad that you appreciate what's happening and the direction the AFA is going in. As always, I'm going to do my very best to keep us going in a good place. Um, Colton, need to be led in the right direction because you lost. I know that the question you're asking is a spiritual question, but I'm going to start with a geographical answer. What part of the world do you find yourself in? And if you do, or if you let me know, I can direct you to somebody who's close to you that can kind of help you. I'd certainly be happy to try to answer any questions you may have, but I think it'd probably be really good to connect you with someone close to you, perhaps one of our Gothar if we have somebody close to you. Um, James, curriculum or syllabus for a study group. It kind of depends on what you're trying to study because that's really broad. But we have a lot of folks that have been leading really good study groups on various topics and various books. And I can try to get you connected with some of those folks. If you guys don't know, James Alt is one of our new folk builders serving the Midwest in the Wisconsin area. He just had a really great meetup with a really good turnout this last weekend. So if you are anywhere near Wisconsin, reach out to James, and he'd love to help you get connected with our folk. Mm. You're welcome, Will. I wanted to post those things in honor of our two Hoffs and in honor of our future Hoffs. Um, in the Gylfaginning, it's laid out 12, what the author describes as the 12 Aesir that are beneficial for man to worship. And those are the 12 that I did those posts on. That's the direction of what we're doing as far as Hoffs. That's what we're trying to do is Hoffs in honor of those gods in that order. And that's why I went ahead and posted that. Clayton, Northwest Colorado. When we start parsing it down to like specific parts of states, it becomes a little bit trickier. We absolutely have a folk builder in Colorado. Jason Plurd. Hopefully, my wife Mandy can link you up with Jason in the chats there. Oh, there I see Jason on the side. Uh, your help is needed, Jason. Yeah, Jason's a friend of mine. He's been a folk builder in the Astro Folk Assembly for a long time. He has a kindred in Colorado. He's a great guy, and he would love to help you get set up. We're working on ways for me to get all these questions. It's strange because they pop up different places. My wife Mandy, I appreciate her help on these things. She goes on her computer while I'm on and tries to catch all the questions that end up getting missed. Um, as far as a folk builder in Washington, uh, no, not at present, but Joe Rosenik is right across the border there in the Portland area, and he does a great job helping out getting Washington set up. So he's the guy I'd recommend you reach out to. Hmm. My wife tells me there's questions about the idea of Haminya and also about how weird works. Um, those are broad questions, and I'll try to give it a little bit of a shot here. Hopefully, whoever asks can specify a little bit more detail what we're looking at, and I can help a little bit better. Um, both concepts of Haminya and of weird are connected. Our lives are very complex, and they're an interplay of a lot of different forces. A lot of forces having to do with things that you put in the well, with your actions, with your intentions, with your good deeds, and with your not good deeds. And those weave together into a tapestry that affects the course and the direction of your life. Um, certainly, the Norns have a say in some of this. Certainly, the gods direct some things and put some things in your path. But you create a lot of your own weird with the choices that you make and the decisions that you take. And that changes the course of your life and the things that are presented to you and the opportunities you miss out on. Um, weird is a complex web, but I believe one of the things the Austrian Folk Assembly really believes is the concept of Rito. If you do the right actions at the right time, the idea is to work with weird and have synchronicity occur to you and good things happen. Somebody's visiting us. I've got an unexpected visitor here. If you guys didn't meet her already last month, this is my daughter, Aubrey. Mandy and I have been extremely blessed to have this little girl in our life now for a little bit over 6 weeks. And you guys get her at a moment where she's not fussing. So savor that because it tends to be rare right now. But yeah, I'm sorry I distracted a little bit from the weird question, but yeah, weird has a lot to do with the synchronicities that occur in your life and the opportunities that are put in your path by choices that you make, by the life that you live, and by being an honorable or a dishonorable person that way. Look at all your fans. Look at all your fans. Well, as soon as she's big enough, I'm going to be bringing her places around the country when we go to events and do things, and looking forward to showing her off to all of you. Um, yeah, I'm sorry that some of these questions aren't coming through a little bit better. I do appreciate Mandy trying to get them to me. Do we have any? Do we have any other questions tonight, or anything that you guys wanna discuss? All right. Well, my daughter's gonna make her exit here. All right. So, Mandy, you said 25. 24 that we know of, and a couple secret ones. All right. So, one thing that my wife Mandy does for the AFA is keep track of all of the AFA babies that come into the world. And this year, so far, we've got 24 confirmed, and then a couple of secret babies that folks aren't supposed to know about yet that are going to be joining our AFA family within the remainder of 2020. So that's a pretty good number. And I imagine that we'll find out about a few more that should be with us by the end of the year. So we're growing, and that family and that increase is a big part of the immortality that I was speaking about earlier that we're focusing on. It's been amazing to watch the past few years, just the baby boom within the Austria Folk Assembly. We got so many families now, so many babies, so many kids. It's been a really special thing to see that develop and to be here at this time and to be part of that. So, what else do we got for questions, guys? I know I'm not seeing everything, but I am trying to catch them as they pop up. Mandy's trying to catch them. So if you have questions, go ahead and throw them out there. And now is the chance. Got anything going on? Anything we're doing? Any I don't know. Whatever's on y'all's mind. Um, I also, while I've got folks here, I want to give a special thanks to all of the AFA West members and volunteers that have been out at Odenshoff getting it all ready for midsummer. Um, we do a pretty good job of keeping it up and maintaining it as a nice place and as a Hoff befitting our gods. But it's special every year when we invite people from all across the country to join us for midsummer. We want to make sure it's really looking its best. And we've had a lot of people out there putting in hard work and sweat equity, making sure that place is ready to receive all of our AFA family and ready to make sure that Midsummer at Odenshoff is a fantastic event as it always is. And I appreciate all the effort they put in. Thank you guys so much. It really does make all the difference. Michigan, where can you participate? Do we have folk there? Yes, we have folk there. Um, I would suggest that you reach out to James Alt. JAULT at runestone.org. And hopefully, Mandy will tag him in your comment, or he can see and hear us having this conversation. But from Wisconsin, he can do a lot to help you get situated with the people in your area. Um, we have a folk builder in Ohio that could also help out, Ben Tymeyer. He may know some good folks for you to get connected with. It all depends on what part of the state you're in, but we do have members there and we have members close by. So those gentlemen would be really happy to get you connected with folks if that's something you're interested in, Gunner. hmm. Recommended reading. All depends on the subject matter that you want to read, or what you're interested in at the time. Um, One book that I was thinking about lately is, make sure I don't butcher the title here. The Bear: History of a Fallen King. It's a book that Steve McNallen recommended to me years ago, and I think it's really, really interesting. And it's kind of a topic that doesn't get discussed much, about the sacredness and the imagery of the bear in European history before the advent of Christianity, and how the symbol of the lion kind of overtook the situation of the bear as a regal image in Europe. So I'd recommend folks check that one out. I thought it was a really interesting read. It covers subject matter that we don't usually talk about. And I think it's a good book, and it kind of came to mind because the animal head imagery, on Thorshof is two bears, is the bear heads. So I wanted to think about that, and yeah, picked that up and gave it another look through a little while ago. It was a good read, and it's an interesting book, and you can snag that on Amazon or wherever, and that's what I'd recommend right now. Preston, I think that 1984 is always a good reading, a good read. It was a cautionary tale. Um, I think now you can turn on the news and see a lot of 1984 getting played out in real time. Um, what else, guys? Oh, and Culture of the Teutons is always something I recommend. I know a lot of you guys probably have heard me recommend it over and over again, but I'm gonna keep doing it because I think it's really essential to understanding concepts and values that were very important to our ancestral Austrian culture, and that it's always a great challenge to figure out ways to uphold those values in the changing world that we live in. So, Culture of the Teutons, I think, is a really important one. I'd always recommend. Um, Something else I'd recommend is The Yoga of Power by Julius Evola. A lot of people complain about that book. It's not everybody's favorite. I think the title is a little bit misleading. It's not really about, yoga, certainly not in the stretchy soccer mom sense, but I think it's a really good book. And yeah, I'll go ahead and recommend that one today also. What else is on y'all's mind tonight? Hmm. It's really strange the things that pop up and don't when I reload these things on my phone. So I'll try to do that a little bit more often. For those of you that are asking questions, I'm not ducking you. If you need to ask them again, go ahead and I'll try to make sure I get to them. So it's Andy. Good question about if there's associated groups with the Austrian Folk Assembly in the United Kingdom. Um, Yes, we're building over there. We're building slow. I don't want to lie to anybody and make you think we have some vast army of British members, but we're building, and for the first time, we have a folk builder in the United Kingdom. Fiona Edgar is over there. She's doing great things. She's building. Though she is in the UK, she is over on the island of Ireland. Um, we have a couple of members who are in England, and we have, I think, three members currently who are in Ireland. But she is building that. She's building the area. We have folks over there. I would really encourage you to reach out to her. She would love to help. And we really want to build our membership over there. Quite a few of us, myself included, our closest link to Europe are folks that came from the United Kingdom. Um, and we would absolutely love to see that grow and develop. And it is currently growing and developing. My throat's a little dry. I promise it is not the Rona. Never fear. James, you are a very popular man tonight. You got a lot of folks trying to reach out to you. I hope you're able to get to them, and it's exciting because it looks like we may have some good potential members in your area. Certainly, some folks that want to get involved with folks there. Um, what else is on y'all's mind tonight? Brian, yes, I recognize your name. I'm glad that you joined. Trying to think of some good recommendations on daily practice outside of Steve's book. Um, Living Alcitru is something I'd recommend to look into. I think that would get you a start on some of that, and we're currently working on getting some better materials on that. But I would look into that. Yeah, I think Living Alcitru would be my go-to for a quick thing on that. I think something else, I'd have you go to the AFA website, www.runestone.org, and look at our library section. We have a lot of files on there about we have old rune stones. We have The Voice, which was our newsletter for a time, our current rune stones. And they kind of show you what a lot of folks do. Um, some of it may seem kind of mundane, but Astro is not always about some big fanciful thing. Very often it's about regular folks getting together around their kitchen table or around a campfire and talking about their families, raising a horn to our gods and to their ancestors. I think you'll see a lot of that in those rune stones, and you can kind of learn where we came from and some of the things that our folk in the AFA family have always done to practice house true in our daily lives. hmm. Ian McKee, good folks in Texas. I would ask you to reach out to our folk builder Michael Foley. Hopefully, Mandy can tag him in this on the side, but he can help you. He's folk building in that region and he can get you set up. We do have quite a few members in Texas. A lot of the time they are spread out, but we've got some good things starting to take shape in the Texas area. So reach out to apprentice folk builder Michael Foley, and he'd be happy to help you on that. Um, some extra excellent works in progress, asks my good friend George. Well, I don't, I'm always hesitant to talk about works in progress because I don't want to promise and not deliver. I've been in a lot of situations in my life and in my journey through House of True where people talk really big and talks cheap. One of the things that I promised last year and an oath that I made at midsummer was that by this next midsummer, we would have a place to inter our dead and we would have the second Hoff. And I'm proud to say we've laid out the locations, we've laid out plots, and we have remains that we are interring at Odenshof at this midsummer, and Thorshof as of the 1st of April is ours. So trying not to overpromise on big projects in the works. Those are projects that have been in the works for some time. The folks at Odin's or at Thorshof getting it all spruced up, making it ours, building that transition, laying the groundations for that holy space. And then next month I'm going to fly out and do the dedication of that Hoff to Thor and do a formal land taking rite. And so I'm really excited about that. I think that's a big thing that's in the works, that's working on. Um, got another Got some other good things coming up, but I'm gonna leave those for a little bit of a surprise, hopefully. Um, but we have a number of projects. One of the projects that we're working on, a big focus. I've talked about immortality, and I'm gonna brag a little bit on folk builder, apprentice folk builder Brandy Callahan in North Dakota. For a long time, I've been really wanting us to take stock of our history, to acknowledge our history, to celebrate our history, and to write down our history. And we've not been able to do that well for a long time. Um, but fortunately, we have some of the right people to change some of that. Brandy's been helping a lot so far with gathering our history, with documenting and chronicling the things that we're doing, with establishing and working with Hoff historians at Odenshof, at Thorshof, and at subsequent Hoffs, to where we're going to write down and we're going to have some history to celebrate. We also have some folks on the side that Brandy's working with, and these folks are going to help us write a history of the Austro Folk Assembly and hopefully the Austro Free Assembly. So we're working on that project on the back end. I don't have a timetable for when that'll come out, but as part of our 25th anniversary and our focus on immortality, it is essential that we get those stories written down and recorded and told. So we're working on that behind the scenes, and I'm not sure how long that book's going to take to get done, but it will get done. I promise you that. I will see that one through to the end, one way or another. Looking on it here for anything I may have missed. Um, put the call out again if we have any questions or anything folks would like to make sure we talk about. Um, Good advice from Gothi Blaine Qualls. We're gonna praise the ice when it's crossed. We're gonna brag about things and celebrate them once they're done and once they're accomplished. Um, but we do have some pretty big things that we're working on the back end. Do we need volunteers? Yes, we always need volunteers. Trouble is linking up the right volunteers with the right task. If you want to volunteer in any capacity with the Austro Folk Assembly, the first thing I would suggest would be to reach out to your local folk builder. They're going to do the best at knowing how to get you where you need to be, and how to get that help, get us the right folks for the right jobs. So reaching out to your local folk builder would be the best thing to do. The AFA always needs help. Sometimes we need help on big things. Oftentimes we need help on small things. In your local area, it could be something like hosting an event or even bringing solo cups to a barbecue. But on a bigger level, we always need tech people that can do tech things. We need folks that can help us do do work with their hands at the Hoff. We need artists that can do great art. We need writers. We we are spread and we have people in so many locations that no matter what your skill set, chances are the AFA would love to have your help and we can find a spot where you could do a lot of good for us. So yeah, please reach out to your folk builder and folk builders. If any of these folks want to join our Facebook group for AFA volunteers, let's make sure all of our members that want to volunteer and want to help can get on that group. Nate, are there any plans on unique renovations for Thorshoff, such as how to spruce it up? Yes. What exactly those plans are, I want you to reach out to Gothi Spawn Harrell or to folk builder Rob Stam and Daniel Young. Those gentlemen do have plans and things that are in the works that they'd like to do to spruce that place up, to make it ours, to make it special, and I know they've got a lot of ideas, some of which we've all talked about together, some of which they've got kind of on their own that they may haven't have talked to me yet about. But I'm sure they would love to have any input that you might have if you got any cool ideas for them. So yeah, please do reach out to Spawn, Rob, or Daniel. um. All right. So Rafanolf asks if there's any wisdom I can impart on dealing with today's day and age. Yes, and I don't mean for any of it to sound cheesy. Um, we live, we know from our lore that we live in the Wolf Age. In the broader Indo European tradition, we live in the Kali Yuga. We live in a time where there's a lot of chaos, and for a lot of us that don't feel like old timers, the world today is not very recognizable to the world that we knew growing up. Certainly not to the world of our grandparents, much less so to the world of our ancestors. Um, but it is what it is. We gain ourselves nothing by pretending we live in a different time or a different place, or by wishing away things that are. Best thing we can do is deal with things that are. We can set our jaw, get ready, and we can go through life and do the best we can. There's honor in the struggle, and how we show ourselves and the values that we teach our children are going to set a lot of the playing field for the next generation. But there's something else. Um, all of us know that things in the big, broad world out there aren't right. And we sit around and we get upset about it, or we get depressed about it, or we pull out our hair not knowing what to do. But there is something you can do, and there's something we can do. Can we fix everything out there? No, probably not. Certainly not individually, certainly not right this second. But we can always fix stuff in here. We can always fix stuff in ourselves, our families, our kindreds, and in the Austrian Folk Assembly. Um, you are part of a very special family in the AFA. And there's a lot we can do to build each other. There's a lot we can do to build True. There's a lot we can do to build the True Folk Assembly into what we want, into what we want our children to have, into what we want our grandchildren and their children to have. And by focusing all that frustration that we have about all the things we don't like into building something that we not only like, but that we love, that's what I recommend trying to do to deal with the craziness in the world around us. It's not perfect, but I believe it with all my heart. It's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And we're having great success because so many of us are trying to build that future that I'm talking about. So that's what I would recommend. On a practical level, something that this lockdown has taught me is to stock up on the things that I need and things that I want and take for granted. I mean, I think there's a current within all of us to be self-reliant. That's one of our virtues. We want to make sure that we're prepared. A lot of us aren't going to be huge preppers all the time, but look at the things over the past few months that you may have gone without, that you may have lamented, you wish you had more of, you wish you would have thought to have stocked up on. And you may run out again of something else, but don't run out of that. You know now what you're going to miss, and you can at least have those things. And if it ever happens again, you'll miss other things, but at least you'll have these taken care of. And I think that's a really good plan. I think over time, if we can stock up, for a few months or even a year on the necessities that we need, we'd all be in a better spot. If when you go to Costco or when you go somewhere, you can, always buy, one extra than what you need and stock it away, then we can be in a pretty good spot to handle a lot of the things that come our way. But there's a lot of uncertainty out there. We can't prepare for everything, but we can prepare for the things that we've experienced, the things that we see coming. What else we can do is we can come together and build this that we have so strong with such solid foundations, with such great people doing great things, that we'll have that security to weather the storm, that we can come together and rely on each other. And I've seen that when people are struggling. I see that with AFA's Folk Services program. When we have folks that are having hard times, we're now at a level because of y'all's generosity and because of the growth of the AFA to where we can significantly help out our AFA family when, the the turbulent times around us put them in a bad spot. So that's kind of the wisdom I have on dealing with today's world the best we can. Rob, LaCroix is disgusting. Um, I hope that your obsession with LaCroix is some kind of a joke that maybe I don't get. It is funny, but it's disgusting, and I'm sad that you waste money on that stuff. Um, Looking, trying to see if we have any last minute questions. I'm running tight because I've got my Witten call here in about 7 minutes, but I would be more than happy to answer anything I find. If you guys have asked something and somehow it's gotten lost and Facebook ate it, if I find it after this broadcast, I will go back, I will answer it, I will do my best to do that to everybody who took the time to ask a question. In order for this to be successful, it takes all you guys, it takes your interest, it takes your questions. I really appreciate that. Um, I really appreciate you guys coming and sharing this time with me and asking things. And I want you guys to continue doing that. I love doing this every month. LaCroix tastes like TV static. What I've heard is LaCroix tastes like water that's been in someone else's mouth. Yeah, LaCroix is gross. Hmm. I'm looking for any last minute things here. It has been a pleasure to talk to you guys as always. I'm sorry that there's always so much Facebook tech problems. I am not not the best at navigating those, but I appreciate you guys' patience sticking with me. I appreciate Mandy's going through and trying to catch the stuff that I miss, and yeah, appreciate you guys being here. Got exciting times ahead of us. We've got a very exciting summer. We've got the 25th anniversary celebration coming up here very soon at Odenshoff. We've got the dedication of our brand new Thorshoff in North Carolina. This is an amazing time to be part of the Austrian Folk Assembly. It's an amazing time for Austertrue. It's an amazing time for us. Whatever's going on out there in the world, don't let it keep you down. Redouble your courage, redouble your strength. Go out and live life. Live big. Do big things, do bold things. That's what Midsummer is all about. Celebrate life. Celebrate all the great things we have around us. and really take that time to focus on building the immortality that we all want for ourselves, for our families, for the Us True Folk Assembly. Let's go out there. Let's go out there and make things happen. All right, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with y'all. I look forward to talking to you guys again next month, if not sooner. I'm hoping I see you guys all out at Odenshof. If not, or even if so, I hope I see you guys again at Thorshof in July. Um, guys are fantastic. I am extremely, extremely proud to be part of this amazing AFA family. And I hope you guys have an amazing midsummer. Hail the gods, hail the folk, hail the AFA.